Hatha Yoga. We know this practice of Hatha Yoga, or more term yoga in the West, as a physical practice. Well, it is a physical practice, but the way we see the Hatha Yoga, or the ancient scriptures see the Hatha Yoga, is more as a body as an instrument. The Hatha Yoga is a physical practice that we are using the body. Kind of like the holistic Eastern way of medicine, like shiatsu, tuina, acupuncture. What is happening in those healing systems is that we use the body in order to touch another aspect, which is in the yoga is known the astral body, is the more subtle energetical body. And as we'll progress, we'll also explain more about different terms, about different things about the Hatha Yoga, because Hatha Yoga is much vaster and rich than just mere physical practice of a few posture or breathing exercises. Something we cannot put even in one lecture, long lecture. The Hatha Yoga is like the Eastern practice. Is like in shiatsu, we know there is channels of energy called Nadis, and there are points of energy in this, along these channels, that in order to influence them, we need either to apply pressure or to place a needle, like in acupuncture, which is part of this treatment. What it does is basically this placing the needle or the pressure on this pressure point pulls the energy in this channel of energy. So what actually we say is that those channels of energy, they are kind of mapped in the physical body. This exactly the same science exists in the Hinduism, but there we don't call the channels of energy, we don't call them meridians, but we call them Nadis. We have 72,000 Nadis according to the Hindu healing system. So, and then they meet in 7 centers of energy. There are more, but those are the main ones. And it's like kind of a crossroads of channels of energy, the centers of energy. How we know they exist? Well, as I said, in the East it's very clear that those channels exist, and this is how all the treatment is there. And today, even in the West, is very clear, because many people take this healing treatment. But for us, even to pay attention, even the moment that we have an emotional crisis, we feel a certain pain in the chest, and we call it to be broken-hearted. Well, it's not that your heart physically broke, but there is some kind of energetical stagnation that feels like this extreme physical pain, feels like something is broken in your chest. So, now that we understand better that there are manifestations of the energy, stagnation of energy in the body, and we know we can even relate to how we feel it, we will understand better the attitude of the practice of Hatha Yoga. Because the way we practice the Hatha Yoga is like the shiatsu treatment. So what we are doing is to try to teach you to become aware, to pay attention. Because we need the attention, we need the awareness with the posture in order to create these effects. We have to say here that Hatha Yoga is something that has many aspects in it, and every time we share a little bit, we do it in the class, and we are going to do it also now online. Because this is only one aspect of the practice. There is a very important other aspect in this practice, which is your attention. We touched it a little bit in this aspect of the energetical flow, but is also very, very important in the aspect of feeding the mind. Also, it's a very deep subject by itself, but we will touch this aspect right now as something very relevant to our way of practice. Is we all say that I can't stop this chatter in my head. I can't stop this constant talk. This talk is this commentator is really putting me in a very stressful condition. I cannot relax, I cannot sleep, many problems, and we can't touch this mental process directly. This we have to understand. You cannot stop the mind. So the body becomes an instrument to affect the mind. What does it mean? If we spoke about before about the energetical aspect, that when I have an emotional crisis, I feel the pain in my heart broken. So when I'm sad, I have a certain physical posture. You feel like the energy is sucked in, you don't want to see anyone. But when you are happy, life is great, everything is wonderful. When you are angry, and so on. That means that your mental state reflects on the body. You can be in a mental state and somebody comes to you and says, oh, why are you so sad today? And you are, how does he know? Well, we reflect it. So part of the practice of the Hatha Yoga, we know it's from the ancient rishis, the seers, the people that brought or discovered this ancient practice, let's say. So they discovered that if the mind affects the body, maybe the body can affect the mind. So here comes our ability to develop awareness to my posture of body, to what is happening to my breath in those different states. And let's just presume that when I'm sad, I can actually smile and lift the body up, regardless of my mental state. If you like, you can try it on. Try to sit for a few moments like this, very sad, think a very nice sad thought, and then stay there for a few seconds, you see sadness falls upon you. And then inhale deeply, open your chest, and then a small smile, even if it's not what you feel, and see how your mental state is changing. That means that a part of the practice of Hatha Yoga is to be able to change my mental state through the body. To be able to affect the mind, this thinking, this condition through the body. It means the body becomes my instrument, my tool, in order to change or repaint my mind. My body becomes my brush. That's very nice. So now we have another aspect of how we practice with the awareness, with the breathing, with the attention. Why so much attention? Because we put all our attention, the attention is this thing when you focus on something, when you look at something, this is to pay attention, right? And this teacher in the school say, are you paying attention to me or your mother when you're somebody, when you look around while they speak? I say, put attention, pay attention to what I say. This is attention. So now it's clear to us. And what you do, we can put attention right outside, looking at somebody, speaking to someone, or we can do it also internally. I can pay attention to my mind, to my thoughts. That means that when I walk in the street, I don't see anybody, I don't hear anything, I think, and somehow I get to work or to where I want to go. But I think, I'm paying attention to my thought, a kind of involuntary withdrawal inside. This is the difference between meditation, for example, which meditation is with awareness. I'm aware where I am, what I do. we'll go into meditation and the aspect of meditation later on in other lectures. So, attention. So what is the mind? What is this word we are thinking of? All those things are actually many symbols, tags. You know, when you go to buy a television, so you go in, you see a very nice square black thing, and what is that? So you go, there is a small tag in the side, it says this is this type of, or this brand, and it costs $2,200. And this is the tag, this is the explanation of this big black thing that when you collect it and plug it, things run there, this television. But this is actually just a kind of agreement that we have, or information that we have about this object. So actually we are living in a world that is built on names and forms. We have a form of something, and then we have a label, a tag to it. And we give a lot of importance to these tags, right? Because if you think about something that upsets you, you have a certain name to it. Somebody that you don't like, you have his name, immediately his face comes up, and all the feelings arise with this name, this tag actually. But this tag is really important, this thing that all the time we think about. Well, when you are thirsty and you want to drink, if I'm going to come and say water, or you are going to think water, it's not going to change anything in your thirst. If you are hungry and you're going to say sandwich even 20,000 times, it won't change anything in the reality. The body is your reality. Is real, is now, we exist. The feelings that you feel, they are real. But the tags, well, sorry to say, but they are just a tag. After you buy the TV and you bring it home, the first thing you do is dispose of the tag. You don't put the TV in the garbage and leave the tag on your table. So the tags are not that important. And here comes the Hatha Yoga, the physical practice. I say, raise your arm. Yeah, raise is a tag. We know, we agree that the word raise, say, this movement. Arm, oh, we agree that this is an arm. But in the practice, you take these tags, leave them aside, and you start to pay attention to the feeling that arises from this movement. You pay attention to your experience, and this connects you to life. This is why another aspect in our practice is very important. No competition. Listen to the body. Don't go beyond what you can do. But everybody's body is different. That means one person will raise his arm only up to here and get a certain feeling of effort. And one person will raise the arm all the way here and get the same feeling, the same effort, but only in different distance. So you need to work according to your body and according to your feeling. But if you work according to your mind, according to the label, getting far, reaching, better than everybody else, then the body is not so important, and then you can injure the body. Another aspect, a very important aspect in our practice is slow movement. Some people call me, oh, you are teaching the slow yoga. Well, yes, we are teaching the slow yoga, but there is a reason why a slow yoga. One of the reasons I learned many years ago when I started to practice martial arts is my instructor came to me and said, I was trying to practice very fast and be very strong, and he told me, what you cannot do correctly slow, you will never be able to do it correctly fast. And if we're coming to the science of Hatha Yoga, that is a science that works on the spine, something very delicate, very fragile, all the spinal cord is there, all the nervous system is there. If you are working on joints, you have to be very careful. And to be very careful, it means to be very accurate in the movement. It doesn't work, move fast again and again until you will improve. This can be very dangerous. So basically, slow movement is in order to be able to be accurate, to pay attention. How much can I really feel, if you remember what we spoke about a moment ago, how much can I feel in the moment I finish the movement in a split second? Not much. But there is a lot I can experience if the movement is slow. How much can I breathe in a fast movement? The breath has its own rhythm. I cannot it has its own flow. Breath, is a very big subject that we're going to dedicate a talk only for the aspect of breath. Breath is life. God breathed into the first man. Breath is the soul. Pranayama comes after asana and the eight limbs of yoga of Patanjali Maharishi. It's something very big. But we cannot neglect it out because Hatha Yoga without breathing is mere physical movement, which is not bad. We approve all physical practice as long as you don't injure yourself, but the breath is very essential. So in the moment I want to move, the breath has to be there. And in order for the breath to be there, you need to lower the pace. The way we practice, if I just touch it a little bit and you'll see it in the practice, is I first pay attention. For example, to my arm is an example we are repeating today. So first I feel the arm, then I breathe, and the arms follow. In the Tai Chi tradition, which this way of practice is actually resemble very much the vinyasa, the flow is a flow with breath and awareness, vinyasa. So basically what is going on there is you need your attention, and they call it an internal practice. They said in the East there is internal and external practice. And what is the difference between them? External practice is first your body, very fast movement. Then you try to feel the breath in. And then maybe one day the mind will be there. Internal practice works in the other direction. First your attention, then the breath, and eventually the body follows. So we refer to Hatha Yoga as an internal practice. Of course you can do exactly the same, but as external practice. Move, change from posture to posture is wonderful. It's just the aspect works differently. And what we do is first pay attention, then breathe deeply, and then let the body follow to whatever flow it will be, whatever asana or vinyasa that we're going to do. So now we touched many points that are part of our practice. And the first step, the next step we are going to do is we are going to share more or less the structure of our class. The structure of our class is first relaxation of about 10 minutes, then warm up, different warm up movement, then another relaxation, and then vinyasa flow, and then asana. Pranayama can be in any part of the class or in the end of the class or during the asanas. Pranayama is the breathing practices, expansion of the vital energy. I would like to thank the teachers of Buddha Yoga from the East to the West,